Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at some really interesting source material. It tackles success and fulfillment from a very different angle.
We're diving into Deepak Chopra's The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
Specifically, the introduction and those first 3 laws. We want to unpack the core thinking here, explore this, spiritual take on achieving things.
And see what insights it might hold for you, listening right now.
Because the whole premise is, it's kind of counterintuitive, isn't it? That success might not be about constant struggle.
Right, not just striving, but maybe more about aligning with natural principles, like how nature itself works.
Okay, let's get into it. The source starts right off by redefining success. It's not just stuff.
Exactly. Not just material wealth. It's framed as the continuous expansion of happiness and also the progressive realization of worthy goals.
Okay, goals and happiness, but here's the kicker.
With effortless ease. That's the key phrase.
Effortless ease. Wow. That flies in the face of a lot of the hustle talk we hear everywhere.
It really does. And it broadens the definition of affluence, too. It's not just money, but the abundant flow of everything good.
Like health, energy.
Yes, and good relationships, creative freedom, stability, peace of mind, all of it. It comes from working with nature's intelligence, consciously.
So, a much richer idea of being rich. And underneath it all, it seems to be about something internal.
That's right. The source says true success is really about nurturing the divinity within us, recognizing that spark.
Which leads to seeing life differently, maybe more, miraculously.
That's the idea, yeah. Experiencing even the ordinary as extraordinary.
And these are called laws. What does law mean here? They don't sound like rules you get punished for breaking.
No, not like traffic laws. Think of it more like the fundamental operating principles of the universe, the process by which the unseen, the unmanifest spirit, pure potentiality becomes the seen, the manifest world.
Like how potential energy becomes kinetic energy.
Right.
But on a cosmic scale.
Kind of, yeah. The universe itself is seen as consciousness experiencing itself as spirit, mind, and matter. It's all interconnected.
So understanding these laws is like learning the grammar of creation.
You could put it that way. It's about understanding how nature creates everything, from galaxies to forests, and then applying those same principles to bring forth our own deepest desires, working with the flow, not against it.
Okay, that makes sense as a framework. Let's get into the first one now. The law of pure potentiality. What's the core message?
At its heart, it's about recognizing who you really are beneath the surface identity. The source says our true self is pure consciousness.
Pure consciousness. What does that mean practically?
It means you are, at your core, a field of all possibilities, infinite creativity. It's your spiritual essence. Yeah. And its nature is described as inherently joyful, knowledgeable, silent, balanced, even invincible, simple, blissful.
So our default state is potential, limitless potential.
That's the claim. And connecting with that, realizing that is your true self, aligns you with the power that manifests everything. That field isn't out there. It is you.
Okay, that's a big idea. The text makes this distinction, self-referral versus object referral. That seems really important.
Oh, it's crucial. Object referral is when your sense of self, your feelings, are dictated by things outside you.
Like what people think, or your job title, or how much money you have.
Exactly. Situations, people, things. It's often driven by fear, needing approval, wanting control, needing external power. That's the ego, which the text calls a kind of social mask.
And that kind of power based on external things. It's shaky.
Very shaky. It's temporary. It always needs more validation from the outside.
So self-referral is the opposite.
Yes. Your reference point is internal. It's your own spirit, your unchanging self. When you're self-referred, you're not tossed around by opinions or circumstances.
Does that mean you don't care about anything?
Not at all. It means you're free from fear, the compulsion to control, the desperate need for approval. You're humble, actually, because you recognize that same essential spirit in others, too.
And that's where true power comes from.
According to the text, yes. A stable, permanent power based on knowing yourself. It naturally attracts people and opportunities. It's described as a state of grace, a power rooted in authentic connection, in love.
Okay, so how do we actually get there? How do we access this field of pure potentiality? It sounds great, but...
Right, the practical side. The text suggests a few key practices. First, silence.
Just being quiet.
Deliberately. Making time each day to just be. Withdrawing from noise, not just talking, but emails, news, social media, letting the internal static die down.
It sounds challenging in today's world.
It is, but vital, the text argues. Second, meditation. Daily meditation.
How hour?
Ideally about 30 minutes in the morning, 30 in the evening. The goal is to consciously settle into that pure silence, pure awareness. The gap between thoughts.
The gap.
Yeah, that space of stillness. It's described as the field of infinite organizing power. That's where you can introduce intentions effectively, like dropping a thought into calm water. Stillness is key.
Okay. Silence, meditation. What else?
Third, practicing non-judgment.
Judging nothing. That seems impossible.
Well, it's a practice. Starting the day with the intention, today I shall judge nothing that occurs. Judgment creates mental static, turbulence. It closes off that gap.
Whereas non-judgment opens it up.
Exactly. It allows more access to that silent awareness, that potentiality. And fourth, spending time in nature.
Just being outdoors.
And consciously communing with it. Feeling its intelligence, its harmony, its unity. Nature naturally reflects those qualities of creativity, freedom, bliss.
So these aren't just relaxation techniques. They're ways to connect with this deeper self.
That's the idea. The benefit is that accessing your true nature brings creative thoughts, clarity in relationships. You see them reflecting your relationship with yourself. It frees you from fear, especially around things like money, because you realize wealth's source is that same potentiality, which is your own nature.
So you can be active in the world, but anchored inside.
Precisely. Dynamic action combined with inner stillness, that's where desires manifest more effortlessly.
So to recap Law 1 commitments, daily silence, twice daily meditation, time in nature, and practicing non-judgment, maybe starting with that daily intention.
That's the core of it, connecting with your true essence. And that leads very naturally into the second law.
Which is the law of giving. How does giving follow from pure potentiality?
Because the universe itself operates through dynamic exchange. Everything is flowing. Giving and receiving aren't separate things. They're two sides of the same coin, the flow of energy.
Like breathing in and breathing out.
Perfect analogy. Nothing is static in nature. It has to move. And this connects directly to affluence. Well, the word affluence literally means to flow to. And currency, like money, comes from the idea of running or flowing. If you try to hoard energy, hoard money, hoard anything, you stop the circulation. You stop the flow back to you.
So giving isn't losing something, it's priming the pump.
You could say that. Giving engenders receiving. What goes out must come back. If you interfere with either giving or receiving, you're disrupting nature's intelligence.
Like holding onto a seed instead of planting it.
Exactly. The seed has to be given to the earth to multiply.
So the more you give, the more you receive, keeping abundance moving. Is it just about the act of giving?
No, the intention is crucial, the thought behind the action. The aim should always be to create happiness for both the giver and the receiver.
Why happiness?
Because happiness supports life. It generates increase. If you give grudgingly, feeling like you're losing out, that energy won't create the same positive return. Giving should feel joyful, come from the heart, unconditionally. That's what multiplies.
Okay, so how do we put this into practice? What are the suggestions?
One key practice is to give what you yourself are seeking. If you want joy, give joy to others. If you want love, learn to give love.
If you want appreciation, give appreciation.
Exactly. If you want material affluence, help someone else become more affluent. The text says the easiest way to get what you want is to help others get what they want.
That requires looking beyond ourselves, doesn't it?
It really does. Another simple practice is silent blessing. Just silently wish people happiness, joy, laughter as you encounter them. Since we're all connected in this thinking universe, thoughts have power.
And then there's the idea of giving something to everyone you meet.
Yeah, making a commitment to bring some kind of gift to every interaction. And it doesn't have to be money or a physical thing.
Like what?
A compliment, a flower, a prayer. Just your focused attention, which is so rare these days. Caring, appreciation, love. These gifts are incredibly precious.
And they cost nothing but awareness.
Ugh.
What if someone feels like they truly have nothing to give?
The source emphasizes you always have something. A smile, a kind word, a moment of listening, even a silent prayer. You can always participate in the flow.
And doing this builds confidence, makes it easier to receive too.
Yes, it reinforces that your true nature is abundance. Remember, Law 1. The source of all wealth is pure potentiality, your own self. When you focus on circulating joy and good things, other things tend to flow back naturally.
Okay, so the commitments for Law 2. Bring a gift any kind to everyone you meet. Gratefully receive all gifts life offers. Keep wealth circulating by giving and receiving care, appreciation, love, and silently wish others well.
That's it, which sets the stage beautifully for Law 3.
The law of karma. Cause and effect. This one sometimes feels a bit heavy. How's it presented here?
It's presented simply as a fundamental principle. Every action generates a returning energy. What you sow, you reap, cause and effect. But it's seen as happening simultaneously. The action is the consequence in the making.
And right away, it connects us to choice.
Absolutely. We are constant choice makers, infinite choices, moment by moment. Our present life is the sum total of past choices, many made completely unconsciously.
Like conditioned responses, reacting without thinking.
Exactly, like Pavlov's dogs. We often react automatically, predictably, forgetting that even the reaction is a choice, just one we didn't consciously make.
So how do we use this law effectively, not just be subject to it?
By becoming consciously aware of the choices you're making in the moment you're making them, just witnessing the choice point brings it into your awareness. That itself is empowering.
Take it off autopilot.
Precisely. And the text gives two simple questions to ask yourself before you make a choice.
Okay, what are they?
First, what are the consequences of this choice? Just pause and consider. Second, and this is key, will this choice bring fulfillment and happiness to me and also to those who are affected by this choice?
So it's me and others.
Yes, it's about considering the whole system. If the answer to that second question is yes, the text calls it spontaneous right action, the choice that nourishes everyone involved.
And if the answer is no, if it feels like it will cause distress.
Then the advice is simple. Don't make that choice. Find another way.
But how do you really know the answer, especially to the happiness part? It feels subjective.
The source points to the body's wisdom. Pay attention to physical sensations when you consider a choice.
Like a gut feeling.
Sort of, yeah. A feeling of physical comfort, often felt in the heart or solar plexus area, signals it's the right choice for you at this time. A feeling of discomfort is a sign that it's probably not appropriate.
So listening to your body's signals.
Yes. The heart, in particular, is described as intuitive, holistic, contextual. It connects to that wider intelligence, that cosmic computer of pure potentiality. Its guidance is often more accurate than just linear, rational thought for these kinds of choices.
And making choices this way, consciously, affects our future, creates better karma.
That's the principle. By witnessing your choices and intentionally choosing paths that foster happiness and fulfillment for everyone involved, you're consciously generating positive karma. You're literally shaping a future based on success and happiness. The more aware you become, the more your choices will just feel right, spontaneously.
What about karma from the past, though? From all those unconscious choices we already made?
Good question. The text outlines 3 ways to deal with existing karma. One is to just pay the karmic debts. This often happens unconsciously, sometimes through difficult experiences. The universe keeps perfect books, essentially.
Okay. Option 2.
Is to transmute or transform the karma. This means consciously learning from the experience, asking, what's the message here? How can I use this? Finding the seed of opportunity within the difficulty.
Like turning a problem into a project.
Exactly. Linking it to your purpose, your dharma. The example is like, if you break your leg, instead of just suffering, maybe you learn about safety, share that knowledge, or even invent something helpful. You turn the adversity into benefit, creating new positive karma.
That's powerful. And the third way?
Is to transcend karma altogether. This happens by repeatedly accessing the gap, that state of pure awareness, the self, through meditation.
Like washing away the imprints.
Yeah, the analogy used is like washing a dirty cloth in clean water. Each time you dip into that pure consciousness, some of the karmic residue dissolves.
So karma, memory, desire. These are like the operating system.
The software of the soul, as the text puts it. By becoming aware of these patterns and making conscious choices, you shift from being run by the software to becoming a conscious programmer of your reality, making choices that are evolutionary good for you and good for everyone else.
And if a choice is evolutionary for all affected.
The result, the text says, will be happiness and success.
So the commitments for Law 3. Witness your choices moment by moment. Ask the 2 questions, consequences, and happiness for self and others. And listen to your heart's signals, comfort or discomfort for guidance.
Precisely. And these first 3 laws really form the bedrock. The text then goes on to briefly outline the next 4.
Just briefly, what are they?
Law of least effort, aligning with nature's way of effortless action. Law of intention and desire, understanding how focused intention shapes reality. Law of detachment, releasing attachment to specific outcomes. And finally, the law of dharma, finding and living your unique purpose in service to the world.
And they all connect. It's not just a random list.
No, there's a clear flow described. Accessing pure potentiality, law 1, allows you to practice giving, law 2, effectively. This generates good karma, law 3, which naturally leads to functioning with least effort, Law 4. That ease makes it easier to harness intention and desire, Law 5, without struggle, which fosters detachment, Law 6. And understanding all that helps you focus on your unique Dharma, Law 7.
Wow, it's like a cascade, potential to purpose.
It is. And the text uses this great analogy of the cells in your body. They embody these laws perfectly. They have their potential DNA. They give and receive, respond to stimuli, karma, work efficiently, have intention, are detached from the outcome while serving the whole, and fulfill their unique function, Dharma.
Showing these are natural principles woven into life itself.
Exactly.
So, bringing this all back to you, listening, what does exploring these ideas mean for your life right now? Your goals, your definition of success?
Yeah, these aren't just abstract concepts. They're presented as very practical principles, things you can actually experiment with, starting today.
It's offering a different path, isn't it?
Hmm.
Not necessarily easy, but maybe more easeful, creating what you desire through alignment, through conscious living, rather than just sheer force of will.
That's the invitation, really.
The Source has this beautiful line about life being transient, precious, like a little parenthesis in eternity, this fleeting dance.
A beautiful, potent image, full of potential.
So thinking about that,
Hmm.
how might practicing just one of these laws, maybe finding 5 minutes of silence today, or genuinely thanking someone, or pausing before your next choice, how might that shift your experience of this moment right now within this beautiful fleeting dance we call life? What will you choose?